do you want me on Mercy? Here, do you know what I mean? Like Zen is the pick.
Yeah. Usually in this
I
situation,
I felt like I needed to wait because my team was split.
yeah, it'd be Mercy.
So what you can do then is
Yeah,
you step outside of the choke and you just talk with the team. Just say like regroup, and make them come on the same page as you, because it looked like no one was talking. Guess your SR. Noem mental. I'll guess it right after this, okay? It's only one more VOD. So this is the last VOD, and then I'll guess your SR, okay? I'm putting it in here so far.
I need to practice. Like,
relax,
I
yeah.
need to practice. Like,
What's your
I usually never guess SR. Like I don't really focus on the SR when I coach, or if it's a win or if it's a loss. So it's gonna be interesting. First time.
point your stuff as hard as possible.
And okay, so the VOD went DC.
Squad your hold, squad your
Top
hold.
left under. Yeah. Shield low. Nice, big. Oh, Hatky boys on Z, bronze.
Have I watched your montage? Yeah, watch some of it. It's pretty cool. Like,
Yeah, going up.
have you seen these crazy montages from a guy called Half Ear that does like sick edits? I feel like you can get some pretty cool like if you take some of the plays you make and just like add some After Effects, it's gonna be insane. Yeah, Half Ear. It's editor from he's Korean. Like he does a ton of like montages for pro players.
Pulling the armor back.
Okay, so let's look here. So the composition you have is Orisa with Hog, and you want to time the orb with Hook. And you gotta wait with the orb and Hook before. No, I mean after the Reinhardt is here, because you have the orb above the shield, and you have to let it walk back a bit. And if you orb at this position, Roadhog doesn't have the distance to Hook.
Pulling the armor back. He's got me.
And let's see here.
Left, gold.
Wine right side, wine on your Zen,
It's a bit.
wine half.
Is the resolution good for you guys, or because it's really hard to see sometimes?
No.
I'm low.
Pulling above.
So keep in mind that you have a Zen with you, and you really gotta protect him. I think that the way you play Ashe in this comp is it's a bit inefficient, because you might as well run McCree here, and you want to use the abilities of Ashe like a Tracer instead. So she would be a better substitute, or no. You still want to have a main DPS and then substitute a Tracer or whatever else as Ashe and flank with her and so on, because you're not using all of your abilities properly right now to the full extent when you're playing behind the shield with Orisa. And if you play, since you have Zen as well, when you orb and Hook in Discord, let's see, what can you use? Ashe is pretty good with that because you can headshot, but also is McCree. What's a good comp with Ashe? I don't know. I don't know right now a good comp with Ashe. Because I haven't seen her in scrims, or in pro player scrims, or in matches. And yeah, I can't answer it, because it's there's no reference point, so to say, since the pro players might have figured out how to contemplate whatever I might think of in theory, because whatever you create in theory, like the comp, etc. I know I say etc. a lot, but yeah. If you make up a comp in theory, it's never gonna be 100% like you think of it. you always have to factor in random things happening, and that's what makes it really hard to say a good comp. I would say dive with Ashe is pretty okay. It would be really okay.
Still behind some, I got.
You can run, instead of Genji, you can run Ashe, for example.
Yeah, I can come back, I can come back.
Yeah, cool, as long as someone does.
No, Genji's not. Genji's not
Genji's
true.
at main. Genji's a joke.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I heard he was.
Be careful with going so far up as Ashe right now, because you have your ult. Bob is ready. Bob is down to do something, and you don't have to peek to get ult charge right now.
I'm 90 on.
And in the future, you will also learn that enemies or all players will get used to Ashe, and they will get better at destroying the dynamite before you can destroy it.
I can buff this.
We got Bob. Yeah.
Just throw it against the archer when they push it.
Yeah. Chuck it against that far wall. Try and get it just right there where I'm shooting my finger. Every angle.
So you send out Bob, he slept,
Back.
and this is the reason why I think it's a bit inefficient to play Ashe behind the shield, because if you send out Bob, he's gonna run into the enemy from in front of them, and it's the same as having a Genji dash in, having a Reinhardt pin in, and you just sleep, you just hook, you do whatever, kill him even.
Shield, bro. Genji top left.
That.
Hey Addy, how you doing, man?
Do we hold this?
Hold. Ana one. Ana dead.
Yeah,
Win
go,
all
go,
those.
go for it if you have to.
There's
Big
a
bomb.
Ryan behind, there's a Ryan behind.
Run behind.
No, see that. No, see that.
Oh,
Friends,
hands
we
up
have to, guys.
one, literally one behind. Nah, my bad. I pushed it.
I'm down.
Oh my god.
One.
Run behind.
No, see that. No, see that.
Oh,
Friends,
hands
we
up
have
one,
to, guys.
one, literally one behind. Nah, my bad.
So both of your supports died. Let's see what else there is here. You have a Junkrat with you, and okay, so when you walk in here, you're gonna lose point automatically because you don't have the supports, and they can just rush the Orisa.
God. Nice.
Do you know a website or something else where I can find a team quickly?
Just use your ult.
I'd like to try something like this as well. I don't know a website, but the way I looked for teams early on was through Discord. In these like the OW, you have Overwatch University, and you have competitive Overwatch Discord as well, and they all have these recruitment groups you can go into. He went in without any cooldowns.
Hands up down.
Yeah, that too. Like, the cooldowns were used, but I didn't mention it because you have automatically lost the fight if your supports are dead here, and the tank isn't someone that can survive enemies just rushing in, flowing at you. Do you have some coaching advice
Oh my
for
God.
me, because I'm new to coaching?
Nice.
As soon as you got
Back off,
pressure,
back off.
you
It's
should
a really
use your ult.
difficult question to answer, but
Like, I thought we were down,
not
so
not question, but
like, I have to push hands up.
there's so many advice, but the biggest advice or the best advice I can give to you is you should try and learn how players learn the game, and every player has different ways of learning. Some learn by trying, some learn by watching others do something, and some learn by just thinking up on their own, writing it down on paper or whatever, and then experimenting. So you want to figure out all these different ways of thinking for players, and that will make it easier for you as a coach to help them improve later on. And your main job will be to not give them things on a silver plate. Instead, you will help them learn how to become better players and stronger players. And that means they have to become not better, but they have to become more developed individuals as well. And you have to teach them some techniques, like on how to study comps,
It was my
how
mistake,
to
I'm not-
Genji's flanking left.
how
Genji's
to
flanking
practice
left.
and all these things.
Genji's all the way far
Haven's up for five.
But primary one is learn how players think and how players
Oh, he's one,
practice.
He's one, he's one. Okay.
Nice.
This rose.
This good Genji.
So a better pick here instead of Ashe would be Widow, and this goes for the team. As soon as you have lost the first point, you want to switch to Winston and Orisa. You don't have to, but Winston and Orisa are much better than any other tanks or tank duo, I mean, on this map because of the high ground. And if you have high ground control here, you can have a soldier, McCree on castle, and you can have a Widow right here where you are. As Ashe, let's see, if we back up.
It was my mistake. I'm sorry.
Should just
So when you respawn, you can't really run back to the new spawn, so you do whatever you can here. If you get ult, you get ult,
Anyway.
but if you respawn, you should go for McCree
My
or
mistake. I'm not. I'm
Genji's flanking
Widow,
left,
or
Genji's
even
flanking
Tracer.
left. Genji's all the way far.
Haven's up for five.
And try to not press every button, because as soon as you threw that dynamite, it's a free animation for the hammer to shoot you while you can't shoot back.
come back.
He's dead.
Oh, he's one, he's one, he's one.
Oh, I know, Spacey, I know you mentioned it, but even if it works with Ashe, Orisa is gonna be very difficult here, because what the enemies will be able to beat the comp, or they will be able to take space for free without any pressure against them, and that will automatically make Ashe feel ineffective because the tanks can't help her. So maybe you try Winston and D.Va with Ashe then. That could work, because then Ashe can play a bit further up as well.
Nice.
This rose.
This good Genji.
Good Genji's up there.
I'm pushing with shield, pushing with shield.
Really, yeah.
Nice.
He's one. Oh, you're all blocking the fucking side. He's one. Oh, you're behind, fine.
So right now as Ashe, you're using up a lot of time to just walk around and
He's one. Oh, you're
looking
all
for enemies, while you should just step outside.
Really healing up.
So if you look here, finish off that Genji, go for the Genji. Drop down here to the right, like drop down instead of chasing around the corner, because this is like several seconds you can keep shooting.
behind, fine.
Nice.
He's one. Oh, you're all blocking the fucking side.
Ryan's burn.
Nice
Ryan's
boop.
off the map, Ryan's off the map. Oh, you got it, what?
Yeah, be careful with how you expose yourself to the enemies here when you're reloading. And there's a shield behind you.
Ball's going behind. Big bob.
Someone pick Mercy.
Nice kill.
I'm really getting the hang of Bob right now.
Pick me.
Seems to be clicking
Ashe,
heads with
pick
it
me
as well.
You have to be careful here, because Hanzo can headshot you,
I'll
and it's a easy kill
Yeah,
on you.
I don't know.
Big 7.
When testing comps and stuff, you have to factor in that the enemies, you need a big sample pool to give a fair judge.
They're pushing
So,
left, what they got?
The way the enemies play in here, etc., is not gonna be
Ryan's sorry now.
always helpful when you test out
Genji's
comps.
coming behind.
And just mentioning it because I'm reviewing it
I'll
as
do
well.
this fight.
I'm scared because this Genji's
Blade him.
coming.
Get pressed a bit. Good.
There you go. That's the headshot from Hanzo.
Yeah, back up.
So this spot is mostly for Widow when you're holding the choke that far down, because Widow is able to headshot the Hanzo before he is able to headshot you. Compared to Ashe, it's not enough damage.
Back up.
Blade him.
I don't think so, at least. I might be wrong, but it's really hard to hit the headshot there.
Purple. Just let them kill you.
Okay, go Hammond so I can touch.
Nice one. We can torch. We've got time to take another fight.
be more patient with your dynamite as well, because even if you use the dynamite, enemies can shoot it, they can avoid it, and you might want to use it right here instead.
I'd come left though, if we can get somebody on. Never mind.
Back up.
Sorry, sorry, sorry.
That's my bad.
So they cap, they push.
I'm straight in the middle of this.
Oh,
Back up.
I'm straight in the middle.
Yeah, so... What's a better way here? Maybe if you strafe forward, you could avoid that.
oh.
Yeah,
thought
this one is hard. Rebel.
We got one. I'll come back with rally.
Soft reset, soft reset.
We have a bob.
Have I done your
Give me
vote?
the bob.
Let's see.
Let's try and break shield as much as...
Did you post in a VOD review request? Because if you're Lil Pump, I haven't done it yet.
I'm bobbing point. Oh, what the?
G-shot. Pull.
Okay, there we go. I added
Nice, good job.
rolls to the people that just entered as well.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, behind you. Pulling her. Make sure she dies. Good job. So no.
They
Pulling above shield,
definitely have
Hazel.
grab.
They have
Pulling
crowd.
above.
Give grab.
Be ready with the dynamite to shoot it as well, since you're shooting it above the
Oh, they
shield.
shielded it.
Zen, back up. Hide if you need to. Cause he's got.
Okay, I don't think you... Where did you... on my DM. Let's see. I haven't received a DM from you, Rebel. Not on Discord or Twitter. I'm doing the VOD reviews through the VOD review request right now instead. Let me check here. Oh, there you are. Okay, now I see it. No, I haven't done it. Yet. I forgot to add it. My bad. That's the reason for why I did why I changed to do it in a channel, because it's hard to keep track of all the VODs. So I'll just add it right here. This is the wrong one. Wait. There we go. I'm adding it, but I'm doing it after I've checked out this link or this VOD. There we go. Hi there, Darkwick. How are you doing? Thank you for tuning in, and yeah, I'm just doing some VOD reviews here.
Yeah, get you behind.
They grab.
Yeah, I can make it. I make it purple. I'll just make I can make it so a bot deletes whatever else is written in there. Okay, so let's go back here. Right now everyone is on low ground as well, so it's gonna be hard to
Yeah, get you behind.
get stuff done.
They grab. They drive.
You get grabbed, you can't really stop that.
Huge.
There's not much I can comment on here, like as a coach, because since it's experimenting, I understand you're experimenting, but it's also how do you say it? You're forcing the Ashe to work basically, and the way you play Ashe, for example, with behind Orisa shield isn't really efficient, and yeah, I already mentioned it, so it's like just repeating the same things. Yeah, over time you just have to do whatever you can here.
Get it still done.
Again, be a bit more patient with the dynamite, because
Huge.
you end up using the dynamite and then waiting out the timer, but it does much more damage if you shoot it. And it's pretty easy to shoot it by just, you throw it out and then you keep your aim in there.
I'm down. Genji's stunned on the point. Genji's trapped on the point.
Yeah, I did the one from Mike. It was the second VOD I did.
We got one. Point.
I'm gonna
Keep me up,
make
keep me up.
highlights
Oh, no.
on here on Twitch after the stream, and if you click on videos or whatever it says above the stream,
Hands off.
you can see a tab called highlights or something, and in there you'll find your VOD as well as on YouTube as well. Yeah. My English isn't perfect, but
Big
yeah.
slam.
Rank can die, by the way.
Rank is really low. No, it's not well.
Try to recover here, and you'll be fine.
Point.
I'm in that.
We got one. The blue sword is huge.
Both him up. Fantastic.
Oh, almost. Almost.
7.
Zen for...
This.
Yeah.
7 Ryan.
Fine, I got shield to...
Yeah.
What?
Back off. Reset. Don't give them anything. Back away.
Oh, he was just spamming Ryan shield and you dropped it for a second.
They are getting on my nerves.
Heck, game.
10 seconds till I'm. We wait for him.
Wait 1 second for me. Back.
Do you want losses for the VODs? I can take any type of VOD.
What is this god?
Big.
So I can take wins, I can take losses. Doesn't really
Yeah, just
matter.
going off that.
I'm gonna shoot you right.
I'm rolling
Shielded you.
I must have shot this fight.
Xzhyi 1, sorry.
Okay. Thanks for tuning in, Mike. Thanks for tuning in.
1. Shielded you
You
right.
shot next.
Run.
Ryan is very low.
Oh, it's no worse, Perswell.
Kill the Ryan. Nice. Go for it,
The
go
win,
for it,
the
go for
win
it.
is still usable.
Shield, can you pick me up?
There you see, you
Hands on the left, hands on
you
the
just
left, on the left,
shot
on the left.
the dynamite, and it's so much more damage.
I'm just gonna sit forward or something.
Attack to the Zoe, Lucio.
And I know it's a bit difficult to use the dynamite sometimes, but that's why you have to
Do we want Diva?
position yourself all the time
Do we want Diva for this
as
build?
Ashe in flanks and try to get behind enemies from different sides, so that it's easy for you to get more damage in,
Good trade.
instead of playing like
Charge.
McCree would.
You're cool, you're playing it.
I can shot this fight if we can like boot the Ryan with Ashe's ability.
Give me 1 sec, I'm almost back. I'm back. Shield. Ryan, I'm gonna shoot you.
Big! The trance. Ryan charge.
Don't mind.
Actually, we have another VOD. I forgot it from Paris Wall. Yeah, I had a bit of
He's shot for some reason. Make sure he doesn't kill us.
what's it called? Disorganized VOD list
It's
today.
just cleaned us out.
Like I forgot to set up 2 links extra.
What do they use? Pulse bomb?
Shatter.
Try and
Shatter.
That is the
Wait,
new
also
combo, is
no,
the fucking
don't go
breaker.
in and look for losses, Paris Wall. You're gonna stomp, man.
yeah, let's go in. You can go
You're gonna do great.
Go on the Hanzo, speaking with the Hanzo.
Hands are dragging in.
She will be a time-waste hero. I wouldn't say that.
I bent.
Like, you can make any hero like that. It's more like... it's very predictable to play Ashe from behind a shield. And
Big, so
you're limiting your own potential, basically.
really out of position.
But that goes for any hero. For example, if you flank as Zen, you're gonna die a lot of the time.
Big.
But here is... What you could have done here as Ashe, for example, instead of shooting the dynamite in the center here, you can shoot the dynamite above, and it's gonna be easier for you to hit the dynamite then, and you'll still do damage to everyone in the grav. But since you sent it straight in, it's gonna be the enemies are basically in the way.
Huge.
Hands are behind.
Or is it the far back?
Hands are behind.
That's on the right. He's on the right.
What do you play?
Genji, if you wanna go in, I can shield you.
He on the left.
Shielded you?
Hunter,
I need
hide-
healing
Hunter
behind.
window,
Yeah,
Hunter
hide
window.
Almost.
Oh, healing in the back, Bob.
Almost.
I'm
You
sorry,
want
Genji.
Get point, get point, 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 point.
Go point. Bob back, Bob.
Another thing is Ashe, you want to focus on getting high ground control. So get on top of the bridge, get on top of castle, and that way you can control the choke points
Hunter,
need-
hide-
right here. So either you can be up there or here. And you can send a dynamite here. You can send a dynamite really far away as well. And it's great position for Bob as well. Because if you play here far back here, you're not going to be able to just walk up next to Reinhardt because you're going to expect enemy tanks there as well. And if someone wants to deal with you on high ground, this goes for any hit scan on high ground. They gotta focus you with someone that's able to shoot from far away, like McCree, Widow, or they have to rush you. Thank you so much, Kai Heisenberg. Thank you so much.
Healing
Hunter
behind.
window.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in and thank you for liking the stream.
Oh,
I need healing in the back, Bob back, Bob back. He shouted me. What is this guy's problem?
I'm
You
sorry,
want-
Genji.
Shouting point.
Point, point, point.
Go point.
Oh my god.
He didn't lead it. He was half health. What the fuck?
And this is the reason why Reinhardt might feel a bit difficult because you don't have many ways to get to the last part of second point compared to Winston and Diva that can just fly straight up here on castle, because the enemies can intercept you easily and they hear all the footsteps.
You got a diva. All gonna be.
What do we have?
You want me to go Diva?
Can we go right side and just take high ground from them?
Okay, okay, okay.
What? These hands are actually fucking decent as well. What the?
Just
Back to you all those, they might hard push you.
He
Go
probably
right,
had
go right, and then round the
what's it
back.
called?
yeah, just take high ground.
Scan
Yeah,
on you
Wait for
and just
Oh,
wait
shit,
it.
go, 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 go,
Go in.
Take high ground.
Speed,
Just go straight.
speed.
I'm going high ground. I'm
He
going high
wicked
ground.
king.
Big move.
Nice.
Push the Zen, push the Zen. They got a bomb, they got a bomb, they got a bomb. Oh my god, he literally melts. Kill the bomb, kill the bomb, kill the bomb. Kill bomb, kill bomb.
Since you have a, let's see, do you have a Zen with
I'm
you?
gonna come up.
No. Since you have Lucia and Moira, you can't really kill Bob when there's a Hanzo and Ashe shooting at you as well. So try and boop like you do with Lucio. And if you have a Zen instead, it's like killing a Winston that uses Primal. But compared to Winston, Winston has a lot more HP, I think, as well. But whenever you have a Bob on you, try and shield it and go for the boop, try and sleep, etc. So that you don't get headshot or killed by the Ashe and hands up behind you. And you can farm energy with Zarya from the Bob as well.
They trans, that's big. They can't charge, kill the Zen, kill the Zen.
Hanzo left side.
Okay, then now no counting for my Grafton.
Okay, huge. We have no ults for it though, so if we just hit into it, we might be okay.
Yeah, if we drop the beat with a fine.
I'd say
Ashe's one,
Reaper
Ashe's
Yeah.
one.
That's a lot of damage,
I need
purple.
healing right side.
Ryan's gonna have shot 100%. Watch out.
Grab. 2 minutes.
Oh my god. Go targets, go targets.
Right.
I'm one.
I'm coming back.
Zen.
Hey,
Sorry.
So
I'm one.
a way you can play Ashe here. Let's go even further back.
Watch out. My god.
So let's say that you don't have Grav. What you can do is you flank with Ashe. Or maybe, let's say you can have your Reinhardt pin the enemy Reinhardt. He gets a bubble from Zarya and you go for some kill on supports by headshotting. If you keep playing in front of the shield like this, you're not gonna do the damage that that you potentially can do if there's no shield, since you can't headshot anything.
Go targets. targets, call targets.
Right.
I'm one.
It's kind of self-explanatory, of course, but it keeps happening, so that's why I'm mentioning it.
Careful, Darius, careful, Darius.
Moira's one, Moira's one.
Come back.
Use Bob right here. You want a snowball.
Got a bomb, we got a bomb. Rats from back left,
Shield
shot.
The shield is a bit too early as well, because nothing is there to shield him. Or nothing is there to damage him.
I've got a drop left. I've blocked shot mostly. Big beat. Xzhyi right side.
Zen on his own. left side.
They are getting on my nerves.
Hands are one.
It's kind of interesting to see different comps with Ashe.
More point. More back in the point.
Nice.
All one. Nice.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna
Nice.
let's see here. I'm gonna look at.
Alright.
I'm just gonna skip a few seconds here.
9 trillion IQ.
How come you switch from Ashe in the Scrim here?
Oh, that would be a... Yeah, I was about to say go Moira.
Okay.
Oh my god, I'm actually...
Come on, Phil.
I'm fat, Jesus. I can't make it upstairs.
It actually makes sense since it's 1 minute left.
They have an Ashe. All the way right. They have a skip right. We've got to go all the way far right, up onto the high ground in the little building. Let's save our amp.
Yeah.
Up. I'm down. Shielded.
Looks like Rodog is on a different page.
Fine.
Up 7. What?
Ahead of me.
Haven't talked to. We need it.
Go in. We have to.
I got steel trap. Somebody's got a touch.
I got shot in the back.
We have to go. Somebody's got a touch.
I got shot in the back.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. You could have dodged it with dropping your main fire. But yeah, this was from Wind Spicy, and they experimented a bit with Ashe.